Welcome back to another episode of TruthSeekerZ. It's been a while since we uploaded a video because of college and moving and everything, but this is episode 4. We have my friend Raymond here. We're going to talk about politics, conspiracies. He loves conspiracies, so we're going to get a lot into that in the later part of the video. But I wanted to start off with some political stuff because that's a really big thing going on in the news now. So yeah, we'll just jump right into it. So Raymond, what do you think about Donald Trump, and how do you feel about his policies and how he's done so far?
I don't even think it's about his policies. Donald Trump is anointed by God to be in that position that he's at. Donald Trump was born on a Jubilee year, and whoever's out there needs to do their research on that. And he's put in place by God for a reason, just like Obama and the rest of them. But he's gonna help bring in the Great Tribulation. Donald Trump was born on a Jubilee year. He is a definite advocate of Israel, which is the favorite people of God, the source.
He just moved the embassy there.
He just moved the embassy there. And
he's,
biblically, he's going to help rebuild the temple in Israel that was torn down. And if anyone knows their Bible, they know that the temple has to be made first before the Antichrist can come back, which is biblical. And it is transpiring. And when that's done, then you'll see the Great Tribulation pop in. But Donald Trump is definitely part of that situation.
So you think overall his policies? What about his policies? What has he done that you appreciate? What do you disagree with any of his policies at all, or?
Well, biblically speaking and spiritually speaking, it's not my concern, being a follower of Jesus, to be concerned about his policies, the way he talks, things of that nature. All I know is, and all I've been taught through my spiritual awakening, is that his policies are irrelevant. God is totally in charge of what comes through him, and we just need to let it play itself out, because there's no change in it. He will not be impeached. He will not be impeached.
No, there's no way.
There's no way. This is just something to help quiet the Democrats. What's not going to happen. And now, if you really do your research, you'll see that the policies that the Democrats and Republicans have are almost basically the same, and there is no difference, black or white, for Democrats and Republicans. All we know is that he is not doing anything to help anyone. Especially the people middle class or lower class or poor class, however you want to put it. I just stay clear of that because it's irrelevant. It's a bigger picture than everybody knows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, going to the impeachment thing, I mean, they're trying because they know if they don't impeach him, he will win again, because they know that. Because he won't even get impeached, because if it goes to the House, the Republicans control the House.
Right.
The Senate.
It's a never-ending cycle.
The Senate will never vote on that, but yeah. But
I think it's like wagging the dog. It's just to keep our eyes away from what's really going on in society.
Yeah.
It's just another wag the dog deal.
Yeah.
Just like the movie. It's just we just got to let it play itself out.
Yeah, I do. I look forward to voting for Donald Trump in 2020, and I look forward to see how the next 4 years turn out. But I mean, he's doing a great job so far, I think. I mean, a lot of people don't like him just because of the way he talks, and I don't think that's how you should judge somebody. Because he used to be super famous. I mean, what are you supposed to do when you're famous? You talk crap. I don't know, but overall, the economy's up. Black unemployment is at the lowest.
It's ever been in
right. Look at
years.
Fort Lauderdale. It's never been exploded. The economy is growing. People are at work. Yeah. But you got to remember that the government and people that's above the government just want we're like sheep.
Exactly.
So
if we're easier to control, it's easier for them.
Exactly, and that's what it's all about. Don't get caught up in the rigmarole, because it's not beneficial. The focus needs to be on what's coming down the pike, not Donald Trump.
Yeah.
He's just he's just a piece of the puzzle.
Oh, talking about that, do you want to dive into the Pope and what you thought, because the Bible says that he would be the last Pope
Well, yes.
And
this is.
I remember we talked about it. You talked about Donald Trump and getting involved with that, and how the Pope is trying to bring all
Right.
the religions together.
Right, because this Pope right now is he's a Jesuit. And a Jesuit is a faction from the Catholic Church that believes that science and religion are the same. That's why they have, if anybody knows anything about Lucifer, which is the telescope that is built in Arizona, if I'm correct, on an Indian reservation, and its name is Lucifer. And it is pointing at the sky that the Pope and the Vatican are well aware that something is coming, and that's going into exactly what biblically is said, that this would be the last Pope. A lot of people don't know this, but this is the last Pope during our time, and he is really trying to line it up. He's already talked about aliens. He's already talked about how he would pray with aliens. He's said it many times, and it's becoming full circle. Everything that people do their research, they'll see that this Pope is the last Pope. Donald Trump is probably, I don't know about being the last president, but he's also going to be part of World War III. Donald Trump is. They're already saying that USSR and China are lining up against us already, which is biblical. And they're going to catch us with our pants down, as most countries do, just like World War II did too. And everything is going to line up. And then when this pops off, they're going to have to see that we will also go against Israel. Now, when we go up against Israel, that will be the last, we'll be the last advocate of Israel. That's when it's getting close to the second coming of Jesus.
When you were talking about the telescope with Lucifer, did you know that the church, the Catholic Church, owns almost like 65% of all the telescopes in the United States? They own and control them and use them to search. So what are they searching for?
For what? Exactly. They're looking for wormwood.
What are they searching for?
They're looking for wormwood.
What is wormwood?
Wormwood is the same thing as Planet X. And they say that's part of the Anunnaki, where they're at, which goes back to the Egyptians, how they say that they say thousands of years ago, approximately 6,000 or more, that the Anunnaki came to this planet and they needed gold for their planet. They got tired of mining, so they said, let's create a being that can do the mining for us, which comes to Adam and Eve, and it comes to the Egyptians. This is something that I'm still trying to research, but it's starting to come together. And Nibiru, Planet X, wormwood, comes around every 36,000 years. They say right now they can see in Australia it does an elliptical orbit around the sun, which is this way, and doesn't rotate like we do, and it's already coming within our atmosphere. And that's the reason why the Bible says during the Great Tribulation you'll have earthquakes and a lot of destruction, things of that nature. That is where biblically the Bible and science comes hand in hand. Now there's some scientists that are saying yes, there is a planet on the other side of Pluto, but people aren't believing that because people believe what they're being told. They say, oh, there's no such thing. Do your research.
Yeah, I did look it up. I looked at the orbit and everything. So like, if that what was the sun, it goes something like this, right through all the planets, and like these are all just the normal planets, right? I did see that, and then when it comes over here, this is how it causes everything, because the pole, right?
The pole.
Yeah.
And then they say is the closer it comes, like it could signal like the end of the world and right.
Now 2 days ago, I don't know if you guys know this, but we had one of the biggest meteor showers we've ever had.
I did not know that.
That was Friday.
Friday?
Friday, 2 a.m.
Where in Florida?
Everywhere they could have seen it. I guess it was in
Where
this
could they see
area.
it from?
You can see it with your plane. If the sky was clear, you could have seen a meteor shower at 2 a.m.
Wow.
I wasn't awake.
I would see it.
But it showed up on the newscast, so I was like, whoa. I was trying to stay up for it, I couldn't.
I know, it's crazy. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what 2020 turns out to be, though. It's going to be new century. It's going to be...
It's going to be
new decade.
It's going to be the decade. And
a lot of changes.
It's going to be a lot of changes. I think a lot of people said now spiritually awareness is starting to open up. A lot of people are starting. If it's not about religion, then it's about spirituality. So they say that the Anunnaki, however you want to call it, Elul and Jello, I think his name is, they put something in us. Those are the two sons of the Supreme that I think, from what they're saying, is God. And they say that the devil is one and Jesus was the other. And they were the factions that warred on this planet to take over this planet. And I think that's
one, you said, right?
Huh?
You said that you researched that the devil won and he has control over Earth
Right,
now?
and he has a contract for over 1,000 years or something of that nature. And then his brother Jesus, Yahweh, however you want to call it, is coming back to take that contract back. And he's supposed to reign for 1,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
See, because a lot of people understand one thing about the Bible, if they notice that, why wouldn't God destroy Satan? You know why? Because this is creation. God doesn't destroy any of his creations.
Yeah.
Even the Archangel Michael, when they were disputing over Moses' body, he says, I rebuke you. May the Lord rebuke you. You know, and this is the war that's been going on, but I think that science, I'm convinced that the Bible is written in a way for us to, we couldn't be aware of certain things because it would have blown our minds. So God has allowed some of this knowledge to come out a little bit at a time until it comes together at a point, and then everything's gonna be like, wow. You know, it's phenomenal. You just gotta use discernment and put two and two together. You know.
And do you think during Trump's presidency more people have gone away from religion, or do you think more people have came back? Because I know Trump has brought a lot of patriotism back, and a lot of people are really proud of the United States and how we used to be. And because I remember back in the day, America was very religious.
Yeah.
So do you think that him being in office brought more people back, or do you think it's tore more people apart?
I wouldn't say tear us apart. I think it has opened up eyes. I think people are starting to not believe everything they hear.
That's definitely a bit. A lot of people are not believing the mainstream media.
And I think a lot of it has to do with Donald Trump saying about fake news, because he's absolutely correct.
That's absolutely correct.
It's absolutely correct, because you got Bloomberg and you got the other people who are in charge of the billionaires that run the media.
They run all the media.
They run the media, and they want you to learn and know certain things. It's just the blinders are being taken off finally from people, and I think they're starting to research their own and find out for themselves what exactly is going on in the world.
Mm-hmm. And if people like Google and all that, they don't like what you're talking about, they take you right off. Censorship.
Shut you down.
Alex Jones was taken off.
Yep.
Everybody's being taken off that does not agree with the mainstream media.
That's right.
And that's how it's working. The First Amendment is being attacked
Mhm.
hard if you do not believe in the mainstream and
Yeah.
what they're trying to push on society.
Right, and another thing too, a lot of people don't realize that they're really going after your guns.
They are 100%.
And society was really bad when America was really bad when the people, the elite, made way for Obama to become president, just to shut the African Americans up, whether they like it or not. That's what it was. But Obama was probably one of the worst advocates of African Americans as a president.
Donald Trump has done way better for
He's doing a lot better for society, period, because he's telling the truth, and it is what it is.
He shoots it as it is. He doesn't dance around the bush.
No, he doesn't. And I think a lot of people need to realize that the world powers do realize that there is something coming down the pike, like you and I discussed before a year or so ago, that the underground situation, how the governments are building facilities, and they're getting ready for what they can't let mainstream know about, with the destruction, with Nibiru coming into our solar system. Russia has built them, the United States has built them, China is building them. I've had friends that posted, that were truck drivers, that posted themselves in these man-made mountains, caverns. Remember I told you about that?
The Walmart connecting.
Walmart is connected to it. Yeah, Walmart. What's the owner's name that died? Bill whatever, Walmart, the owner. He passed away.
Yeah, I don't remember.
He was very close with George Bush, military-wise. A lot of them have been closing down because they're getting ready. FEMA's getting ready Everybody's getting ready for things that is going to transpire in this world that they will not understand. Now, with that being said, there are people, there are facilities that are spiritually led that God has put in the corner to get ready for. So those who don't believe, we're going to help them to evangelize, let them know that God is getting control, because society is going to go ape, because they're not going to understand what they're seeing and what they're knowing and what's going on around them. The demons that are true in the Bible are going to, the veil between our reality and that reality, which is supposed to be the true reality, is coming closer and closer to being torn. Mm-hmm. And they're going to see a lot of things that are strange. You already have disappearance of people more and more now. You have people being possessed more than now by demons. It's a lot of things are starting to pop off, and it's just it's an awareness that people need to start doing their research so they don't get scared, because through this 7 years of great tribulation, there's people that are not going to be taken away. You know, and I honestly
believe
you're
going
to be left here to evangelize, to keep people focused for when this 7 years is over, and Jesus does come back, and however way he does come back, to get prepared for and keep people, you know, based and ready to make it through and have faith in Jesus and God that they know about.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in.
It's a lot to.
It's a lot to research. A lot to. You got to just look for yourself. I mean, a lot of you can't believe the mainstream media. That's that's one of the main things. You can't believe what they're telling you, because a lot of it is paid by corporate funding and interests and what they want to push onto you.
Yeah.
A lot of it's like that. But since we got on the Second Amendment topic, do you support the Second Amendment 100%?
I used to. Well, let me give you a little background for those who don't know me. My light has came on. My spiritual light has came on about 2016, and I've been on a walk now, a spiritual walk. Those things to me are irrelevant, because I look at the bigger picture, and that's what it's been instilled in me. Before the light came on, I would say I was a very strong believer of the Second Amendment, but I don't focus on those things anymore. I focus on what the Holy Spirit tells me needs to be focused on. The things that people who don't believe in God or believe in Jesus, what they focus on and they think about the Second Amendment, I think that's irrelevant to me now. That's irrelevant to me. I have a higher calling and stuff like that.
But I mean, if you to go into the future, the Second Amendment would have to do a lot with that, if you know what I mean. Because like a lot of the talk right now is they want to take away the guns, and what would happen if they actually tried to take away the guns. So honestly, if they ever tried to take away the guns, I feel like there'd be another civil war. So then that would lead to a lot, like you're saying.
The Bible doesn't speak about...
During this time of like end days, you know what I mean?
Actually, you know what, you have a valid point, Austin. A lot of people don't realize when you read the Bible, it says kingdom against kingdom. That is internal war. That's civil war. If that's the case, then
because nation versus nation is different. Yeah.
Exactly. That's from like Mexico against the United States. Kingdom and kingdom would be internal. Well, if that's to be, then that's to be. But I know that the walk that I have tells me that I have nothing to worry about, nothing to fear. So I don't. And that's one thing that goes back to the media. If you do your research, you'll see that in the media they're pitting the poor people, actually African Americans, against the police. Now they got the police.
100%.
They got the police so scared that when they pull over a person, an African American, they're ready to pull their guns and shoot, because the media has pitted them against each other. And that's biblical speaking. That's what's coming about. So I just can't get wrapped up into that. I'm not going to get wrapped up into that, because I know that is more important things we got to worry about.
Because they always pin, black officers kill more black people than white people. It's all that, but like if you look at the stats, like it's not true.
It's not true.
It's not true at all.
It's not true.
The only thing I could ever see that the reason more black people get pulled over is because more black people would be the committing crimes.
Right.
But at the same time, they get shot more, or they get stuff happens to them more because they are carrying
Right.
illegally or
Yeah.
because they cause
Exactly.
or
Exactly.
because they don't cooperate.
Statistics will
Yeah.
tell you that more whites and Latinos
Yes. Yeah.
get killed
Yes, exactly.
and shot by police officers than African Americans.
Mhm.
Now, why would the media pick on African Americans? Because of the past.
Yeah.
And that riles them up more because of slavery and things of that nature. So the suppression has been used in the behalf of the media to help keep things going.
Yeah. And they're making the police seem like that, like they're evil. They're just gonna see a black person walking down the street and like throw them in jail when that's
Right.
not true at all.
They do that to all
Yeah.
people, not just
Exactly.
African Americans.
Yeah.
I'm African American.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. You're not gonna get thrown in jail
No.
because you're not committing a crime, and that's what they're.
Yeah,
You know, that's what they're trying to say. Like
They're
all
trying to do.
policemen are bad.
But
Like,
that's not the case.
It's
yeah. Like, no.
it's because like
You have to be doing something wrong to be put in that situation, not just
Right.
not doing anything.
when the thing was going around about like Black Lives Matter and all that,
Mm-hmm.
it's all about all lives matter. Because
Exactly.
the main
Yeah.
the main more black on black violence happens than white on black or black on white.
Mm-hmm.
It's more white on white violence and black on black violence.
Mm-hmm.
And they think that only Black Lives Matter, but why would you put that and not all lives matter? If you're trying to make a point, because they say, oh, we're just making a point for our statement right now.
Right.
But why not just put it for everybody? You don't see white people walking around with white people,
No.
white lives matter. If they did that, the media would have a
Exactly.
frenzy on that.
Exactly.
It's crazy. It's just the double standard between the two is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Very hypocritical.
It is.
It is.
But it's another wag the dog.
It is.
Yeah.
They're trying to distract us from what's really happening.
What's
And
really going on around you?
Exactly. They don't want you to know because the more we know, the more dangerous we are as a society.
That's it.
Knowledge is the most powerful thing you can possess.
Because
Well-
you can control sheep like nothing, but you cannot
Right.
control.
Well, just think about it. When's the last time that you've seen somebody have a conversation, sitting at a bus stop chatting?
Exactly. It's all
Hey,
on.
how's your day going?
You're all on your phones all
Yeah,
day.
on their phones. When's the last time they enjoyed the sky, the birds chirping? Just going in the store. How many people actually, hey, how's your day going? Blah, blah, blah. They look at you like you're crazy. Because that's what technology does. Technology's done, and that's to take your mind off of. Everybody wants instantaneous news. Everybody wants to look at their phone and see what their buddies are doing. Facebook, selfies, things of that nature, vanity. Everything is growing. Knowledge has exploded so quickly, so fast, more than any time ever in history.
Mhm.
And this is another thing that's, I don't know if we want to say conspiracy or what, but they say this is when they say Jesus comes back. Everybody, it says in the Bible that everybody's going to see it, right? Well, how is everybody going to see it? Technology, instantaneous. Wherever it happens at, everybody's going to be able to see it. TV, telephones. I mean, not telephones. Phones, cell phones, things of this nature. It's going to be out of this world.
No, but definitely technology has been crazy since 2000 until now.
Yeah.
I mean, in 2000 we had computers that were like the size of this table.
Yeah.
And now they're literally this big.
Mhm.
They say your phone now has more technology than they had during the NASA one,
Yeah.
during Apollo 11.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy how much advancements in technology we've had.
And how do we get that technology?
Exactly right. I knew you were gonna pop up on that part. How do we get that?
All right, how we got that technology? They say this happened before the Roswell incident, which is possible. It was just the most prevalent thing that happened at that time. But we have reverse engineered everything that we have had and found for many, many decades. If anybody does their research, they'll see, even with even during the times of the Egyptians, the artifacts they found, they had breathing mechanisms. They had little planes that they found that were in the shape of planes. It's just something that's still starting to open up, but we've been at it for years. I know you and I talked about on the way over here about the Denver airport and the lizards and the different. If anybody believes that we are the only life form on this planet or in this universe, they really need to wake up. because life is life in different dimensions. I know we talked about Gene Roddenberry and what he had said before he passed away about how the Celestials had informed him of certain things that were going on, and it was very to the T, and that's where he came up with Star Trek. People need to do their research on that. But the thing that really kind of that bothers me is that nobody realizes where this technology came from. Yeah, we're smart people, but we've never been as smart.
It's too fast.
It's too fast.
It came
way
too fast.
Way too fast. I mean, we did leaps and boundaries in the last 20 years.
Exactly.
Like you said, it's just phenomenal. And to think that we did it on our own, no, we didn't do it on our own. We reverse engineered, time travel has been involved, teleportation's been involved, it's documented. Everything that you see, such as Star Trek, you're not losing your mind. Yes, he had an imagination, but not like that. Gene Roddenberry was definitely informed of things that were going on. The Area 51 had a lot to do with it. You have doctors that have disappeared. Going back to Area 51 and other places, I believe, not Andrews Air Force Base, but there's another Air Force Base, I think, in New Jersey. They moved a lot of alien bodies from Area 51 to another Air Force Base. I can't think of it right now. But you had doctors had documented.
Florida?
No, this is in like the Northeast somewhere.
Oh, okay.
I want to say the Jersey area. But that they came out and said, listen, we've been recruited by CIA, by the government. They don't know exactly who. They go in these rooms and they're told, they go through a little slide, they say, okay, examine this piece. It's parts, it's blood from another alien, from another life form. And when they go into their break area, they're not to discuss any of it with other doctors that have been brought there.
It's all department.
It's all departmentalized, yeah.
And that's probably one of the big problems I think, because I watched a clip from Joe Rogan's show, and he was talking with a man that used to work not at Area 51, but one of the bases that was a couple miles south, SR7 or something.
Okay.
And at that place they worked on reverse engineering of spacecrafts, and they all had so there was different teams for different parts. So like propulsion had one team, like advanced technologies had one team, structure and like elements had one team. And the problem is that why it takes us so long and why we cannot communicate to get it is because these departments cannot talk to each other.
Exactly.
And the thing is, the command center has to do with propulsion. The propulsion has to go to the command center, and they do not talk. They're not allowed to. That's why it takes us so long in order to do this, because the government is so afraid of when people talk to each other, it's going to get out.
That's it.
And that's why it takes so long for this stuff to happen. If the government was allowed to share information between agencies and stuff, it'd be crazy what we have today. It'd be insane.
Isn't it funny if you look back? I know you're young, but do you remember when Reagan said in front of the UN? He says, even if we were attacked by aliens, how much more would be together? Do you recall that statement he made?
I think I know what video you're talking
I
about.
think I've heard of that.
Ronald Reagan said that.
But he is right though.
Yeah, he is right.
He's
So there, I mean, it alludes to the public that we know something.
Yeah.
The government knows something that they can't reveal to society. We would go crazy if that's the case.
Well, it would be mass hysteria.
It would be mass hysteria. There would be no regulations.
Anarchy.
It would be anarchy. Yeah. Exactly. Just say they were wormwood. If we were told, if we knew that in a couple months that this earth is going to be under attack or it's going to start pulling apart.
Nobody would go to work. Nobody would pay taxes. Nobody would be doing anything.
Exactly. There'd be rape.
Well, they wouldn't see a reason to live at that point.
Exactly.
They would just think they're gonna die anyway.
Which is what goes back to what I was saying about the Bible. The Bible was basic instructions before leaving Earth, is to have a good life on this earth, because we didn't have no rules and regulations. Comes forth the Ten Commandments, because there was no ruling. We were back in the day. The Egyptians, they didn't. There was no when the Israelites were slaves for them for 40 years. Okay, they were doing all these things for them, but they had no basis as to what to do. henceforth Moses and the Ten Commandments, things of this nature. Okay, this is how you're supposed to live. It's not okay to do these things. It's not okay to do that thing. So I don't want to jump around, but I'm going to tell you that it makes sense. The reason why the Anunnaki are coming back, they come around every 36,000 years. It's because I think we were already existed, but we didn't have that spark of intelligence. You know what I mean? So I think it does coincide with the ape faction that science is saying that we were apes, but then we evolved real quick because the Anunnaki put something in our brains. They spliced us, you know, and which is what we got now.
So, how does that go with the Bible? Because if you're saying that the Anunnaki spliced with us, that means God really did not create most of us.
That's the kicker. There is proof that there's always intelligent life was here for many years before the Bible kicked in.
What calendar how old do you think Earth is?
Some people say 36,000, they say more than that. Some people say billions of years. I kind of go with, there's some teaching that says it's billions of years. Which,
the Bible, if you look at the Bible, it's only 4,000.
Which I believe the Bible has something to do with the Anunnaki. I think that. So
you think when we were spliced, that's when the Bible started? That's
when the Bible started. But life before that, like Thoth, and things of that nature, those entities existed prior to that. And I think that when they came to this planet, they said, well, you know, we have to. I believe when God spoke, He spoke that, and that's when life existed. Everybody's going to have their own theories, and I think that's going to come out eventually. But I kind of think that's when the starting point of our existence started. I think that life was here way before that. But at a different stage, before Adam and Eve, there was already life here.
But in the Bible, it says.
Because think about this. Adam and Eve.
I wish I had a Bible with me right now.
Adam and Eve were the first two people on earth, right? That's what the Bible says. Cain and Abel. Okay, Cain killed Abel. Well, how did Cain go out there and make children?
Eve.
Because there was already life on the planet. There had to be life already on the planet. He didn't do it with Eve, not his mom.
No. What? But incest was alright back then.
Incest was with the cousins and things like that, I believe. But you also got to remember there's a teaching about Lilith.
But what if they didn't tell you all the kids Adam and Eve had? They only told you about King Abel because that was important and taught about murder.
True.
Maybe they didn't tell you about all the kids they actually had. They just told you about the two significant ones that you actually need to know about.
Right, but they give you what they say is pertinent for you to know about. But they know that, and when they wrote the Bible, they should have known that we're going to ask questions. Well, how is that going to happen? How is he going to make a family with his mom? With Eve, that doesn't compute.
I mean, it could have happened.
You think it would have said something, but you did say something about incest. But I don't go there. I believe there's other life on the planet that he had made it with.
But why wouldn't
it's very possible.
Why wouldn't?
Because like in the whole Earth as a whole, like you can't say there's only 4 inhabitants at that time of Earth. Like
and
it just sounds kind of hokey.
Yeah, but when it first started, it all sounds a little hokey.
That's also true.
Yeah.
But when you ask questions about the Bible, most religions, most people, pastors will say, well, this is just like it says that women shouldn't preach, right? And the Bible says in the Bible that women are supposed to follow their men. But you ask a woman pastor that and see what she says about that, right? Don't question it.
You're a sexist.
Yeah, exactly.
I was watching a podcast the other day, and he had a father of a church in California, and the father was a gay pastor, and he believed in divorce and gay marriage and all this stuff within the church.
Oh God.
So it was like one of those churches where it was like the new church or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was Catholic church. But he was gay. Wow. And the guy that was interviewing was like, so you're a gay father? How does that work?
Oh Lord.
It's just,
Doesn't make
how
sense.
far we're coming from how it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
The progressives.
Oh,
like
within the last 20 years, this country is
transgenders
just,
and all that.
skyrocketed with change.
Yeah, because now you got
Crazy.
in California where
Yeah.
that one professor lost his license because he would not allow a girl to shower with boys, and the school told him that he had to, and he's like, I'm not doing that. I'm not allowing them to shower in the same shower, and he lost his teaching license.
Yeah, it's crazy because like
It is.
the liberals think they always talk about we're for science and we're all about science and we're the smartest, but yet they think you can change genders and they think that you can be other ages and you identify as how you feel. How is that stopping somebody that's 18 going to a liquor store and be like, I identify as 21? give me some liquor. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
That's wild.
And then when they bash people on global warming, it's like they have no proof for changing genders, but then when people talk about climate change, they make fun of them.
Yeah.
So it's like it's just a back and forth, a constant battle between the two.
Well, you just brought up something I just remembered.
Climate change.
Climate change. I don't believe in climate change.
Yeah.
I believe that is another part of the alien war that we've been going through, and I believe that the aliens have been evidently, from what my research tells me, is that the aliens did revoke their treaty with the human race during Eisenhower days, and they've been trying to convert our world into more of a habitat for themselves. And the war has been going on, and that goes to chemtrails, things of that nature.
My question is why would they sign an agreement with us if they could easily destroy us?
I don't think it's easily done.
But if they traveled here, that means they have mastered space travel, correct?
All right.
Now
have they traveled here, or have they always been?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Yeah.
If they've always been here, they must be pretty advanced. I mean, with hiding from us for so many years. But if they travel here, that means they mastered space travel. They have all these advanced technologies. Why couldn't they just get rid of us?
Maybe that because of,
Or maybe they're using us.
or maybe that's a possibility too. Or just like back to Gene Roddenberry in Star Trek, there is a galaxy war going on, and they can only go so far. They can only go so far before they violate that. And that's something that is still starting to come out. We gotta have to see how it happens, because there's teachings out there that says that we've been at war. There's been a galaxy war for years, decades, but we have never. They say we have been the pawn. We are the nucleus. We're the issue. That's what they've been. Goes back to demons and angels. That's the only way that our mind can wrap around. There's a good faction and a bad faction, and that's coming to a head.
So if all of these aliens and beings are in creation, like they're alive right now, how does that work with religion? Do aliens believe in religion? And if we all die and go to heaven, are there going to be aliens hanging out in heaven with us? I don't understand.
It's funny you said that. There was a pastor, I think it was in Mississippi or somewhere. It's really funny. So he's going down a road. It's real dark, and he looks to the left hand side. It's not a joke. It's really what somebody had said that they had saw. A pastor said he saw a flying saucer laying on the ground. He parks his car, runs over to them, one of those.
And starts trying to convert them.
He says, "Do you believe in Jesus Christ?" While they're working on the spaceship, he goes, "Of course, doesn't everybody?" That's what the alien said to him. I was like, wow. But I do believe that. I do believe we are at war, but there's different types of war, different ranges of war. I believe that the human race is a pawn, and I just believe that we're like ants inside of a little thing, and they're watching us and they're putting us against each other. They say World War I and World War II is the same way. They say World War I and World War II was the evil faction versus the good faction, because going back to the Bible, just like Judas. If you read the Bible, it says that Satan overtook Judas and made him to say what he said, did what he did.
That's why Jesus forgave him for what he did.
Exactly, which is the same what they said in World War I and World War II, that we were used as pawns.
You do not know. For I forgive you for you do not know what you do, or something like that.
Right, Satan, right, and
Yeah.
Satan stand behind me. Because they said Satan came upon Jesus. Things of this nature. This is, we can all be possessed by certain things. That's why they say the war is you're not at war between the flesh and blood, with principalities. Okay, they can overtake us and guide us, which is, it's mind blowing to think that you are not who you think you are. You're not in control of anything. That's why prayer is very important. That's why supplication and fasting, because it keeps away those evil thoughts and those things that can overtake you. You know, it's phenomenal.
Talking about possession. We talked about sleep paralysis quite a lot.
Yeah.
That's real.
Very real.
Yeah, people. I've had it.
I've gotten it before.
But what do you think sleep paralysis actually is? Because some people think that like it could be aliens tapping into your brain and like just studying your thoughts and whatever. And then I've seen other ones where it's just the demons trying to come into you and your body just freezes because your brain is so overloaded and it can't deal with it. I've seen a lot of things, but what do you?
That's sleep paralysis from what happened to me can happen during REM sleep. You know what REM sleep is, right? So like in between.
Well, that's like your highest point. That's
your highest point of spirituality.
Yeah, that's when your brain is just pretty much at its highest level, and that's when you dream the most vivid dreams too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And you can remember them.
Yeah.
I think that's a spiritual world. I think that's where our higher self is able to be influenced more.
Veil is more lifted.
Right. I think I've known this for a fact. I've been attacked in my sleep by aliens that were at a point where I had to call out for Jesus. This is before I came to the mission. And then the incubus and succubus. You know about them, right? We discussed the incubus and succubus.
I think we did,
before.
but refresh my memory.
Yeah, incubus and succubus. Incubus is a male entity that has a sex with
Oh,
females.
yes, yeah, we talked about this.
And a succubus is the female entity that attacks men, and it only happens during REM sleep.
Did you hear about that?
No.
What are you talking about?
Well, you know what they call wet dreams, right?
Hmm?
You ever had a wet dream?
Yeah.
That's incubus and succubus. That's an entity. And the only time that they can come, if I'm correct, the only time they can come attack you is in REM sleep, when you're in the spiritual world.
So like a succubus is like a girl, like a girl goes, like a demon, but she disguises herself and she tries to suck you off.
Right.
And then a guy ghost does it for girls and tries to get them. And then what they're trying to do is let you allow them in. That's what they're trying to do. But it's.
There was a lady in California. I don't know if you're aware. There was a movie made by documented where a woman kept telling her psychologist that she was being sexually attacked in her sleep. So the psychologist had something to do with USC. So what they did was, this is a movie made, but it's totally documented fact. So they took a warehouse and they built her bedroom in her apartment exactly into the USC facility, just like her real one. And they put all the cameras up. Now, every room had a camera in it, and nothing happened for a little bit. Then all of a sudden, she went to go lay down in her bed. She was attacked sexually, and then all of a sudden the camera started going off, and it was really bad. And the alien or whatever it was, they just followed her. I mean, for her to be 100 miles away, 200 miles away, it must have been attached to her some which way, form, or fashion, and I was having sex with her. It's a known fact. They made a movie about it.
Wow.
Why are they trying to have sex with living people though? It's kind of confusing.
Don't know that one. That's
Well,
kind
it's
of
sex in Ghost World or whatever.
Yeah. Well, think about it. The Watchers came down to have sex with the females.
That's how you got the fallen angel. I mean, that's how you got the giants and
The
stuff,
Giants,
right?
which do exist now today, which has been an ongoing war in Afghanistan with special forces, Green Berets, SEALs, all of them. The soldiers are coming back in droves talking about it as much as they can without getting in trouble.
Didn't you? I remember we talked about. You told me about this guy that lost his 3 fingers because he got shot by the.
He was shot. He was actually a Green Beret, lost his life trying to save his life. Where he was shot by lizards. If I remember correctly, it was up under the Denver airport. That Denver airport was the biggest construction it took forever to build. Okay. Do that research.
Shit, like a swastika too. Have you seen it? That if you look from the top down.
Yeah,
the runways are perfectly aligned, so it looks like a swastika.
Yeah.
And then look at the art. Right.
Art all over the.
Art over. Strange art.
I landed at the Denver airport going to Oregon for vacation one time, and I was so excited. I told my mom, "Mom, I'm gonna be gone. I'm gonna be running around looking at all the art." We landed. The first thing I did was I took off and I looked at all the art. They have like devils sitting on little things. They have people running from a fire city, and then they have underneath it is all famine. Like they show all the cows and everything dead, and they show people running. And then when you drive into the Denver airport, like there's a sculpture of a horse, and the horse is on fire, and the eyes are a goat eye, and it's crazy. Why would they put this in the Denver airport if they're not hinting at science? And if you look at the Denver airport, you know, like those little cement things that have like a metal slab and it has like the writing on it for like, oh, we declare this or whatever. If you look at the bottom, it has the Freemason symbol on the bottom. It's crazy.
It's crazy. And
why put all this creepy art in a international airport?
International airport.
International airport.
Exactly. Because they're trying to tell you something.
And I also saw something when 9/11 happened. I saw that I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's true or not. But instead of Air Force One taking the president to somewhere else, they flew him to Denver International Airport.
Oh, really?
Yes, I don't know if it's real, but I saw something on that. It was on one of my podcasts, but it is interesting. I mean, why would they take him to that location? Especially if it's like one of the fighting spots for...
Exactly. Unless there's a faction that was going to protect him from whatever they thought was really going on. Because the scary part is that we know that we have had wars going on between. We've been used as pawns. Okay, just like in World War II, we were used as pawns. There's an evil faction that they say was the blonde aliens that were on the side of the Aryan aliens that were on the side of Hitler. Okay, and then they say there's another faction.
And Hitler and Germany was so advanced in all their technologies, and I did see that. They were the first ones to invent jet engines for their planes. Yeah. They made the fastest machine guns at that time, because the Americans only had the M249.
Yeah.
But they made the, what was it?
MG3.
Yeah, they made the fastest machine guns. They made helicopters. How did they do all this?
Exactly.
It was so advanced, and the U-boats. The U-boats were way more advanced than any of our submarines.
They had the first spaceship.
There
was directly like a bell. It was a bell. And a lot of people don't know it, but like we were talking about earlier about Admiral Byrd. How Admiral Byrd with the 7th Fleet was chasing the U-boats into Antarctica, and they were chased out by aliens. It's a documented fact. That information was released to the public, but it doesn't hit the regular news organizations. You have to do your research.
I feel like when people go and research it, they don't really believe it, because the government could put out a lot of information that is not true to sway people and distract them from
just filler.
Exactly.
That's all.
You have no idea if it's real or not, but I did see that documentary. I did watch that one. It was very interesting.
It was very.
They showed the planes flying over, the scout planes from the battleships flying over, and then the big hole in the top of the Antarctica, and it's crazy. And then he got. Did he resign or did he get fired for talking about this information? I forgot
that
which one.
part. I don't know.
Because I remember I don't think he got honorably discharged. I read something about it where he resigned because he didn't want to get in jail, or he got fired. I'm not sure.
Which happens to everybody who blows the whistle. And then you got recently the most Buzz Aldrin, him, Obama, the vice president went, the Pope from this existing Pope, the Russian Pope, all went to Antarctica a few years ago when Obama was in office. And whatever Buzz Aldrin had witnessed, they said it gave him a heart attack. He had to leave there, and there was a major earthquake after they left. And who were they meeting with? Who were they meeting with? It's a documented fact. They all went there, but who were they meeting with?
Yeah,
And
because you just don't go down there for nothing.
No. And who did they piss off? Because they said it was a major earthquake after that, and then Buzz Aldrin was very sick afterwards. He almost lost his life at that time.
When was this?
This was when Obama was in office.
Wait, so
2014-ish.
Maybe about 14 before he came out of office.
did they have a name of the meeting? Because I know sometimes
No.
they no. It's just
But it was just, why were the popes going?
yeah, exactly.
The Russian pope, our pope, not just our embassy people going. This was leaders that were significant in this world, in our world, going. And who were they meeting with? The fallen angels or whoever? What was it? Because not biblically speaking, but scientists, well, some people say, the teaching says that the entities have always been here on this earth. You know, and they say that that's where it's been at. And then recently, I was reading in the newspaper or looking online that there's been some disappearances again in Antarctica. You know, military planes disappearing.
I do know Russia is very aggressively not attacking, but like exploring Antarctica.
Mm-hmm.
They have like 100 and something nuclear icebreakers. Well, not nuclear, but icebreakers, and they're going
Nuclear
all
power.
over. And we have like 20. We're nowhere. We are not keeping up, and they're going everywhere. They're
For what?
building bases
Right.
in
for what?
Antarctica. Like why? What's in Antarctica? It's ice.
That's got to be.
It's
a
what's
purpose.
under
It's
the
what's,
ice.
well, let's go on to another faction. What is this about the hollow earth theory? Now they're saying that it's a hollow earth. Is it an entrance? There's scientists that, I know we've talked about this before, scientists that went into that area, they dropped off military people, dropped off 12 scientists in that area and were told to come pick them up in 2 weeks, right? They go around this hole that's in Antarctica. They cannot go across this hole.
It's miles wide.
It's miles wide. So what they did when they came back to pick up these 12 scientists, they weren't there after the 2 weeks. So
the military people there.
the military people went to go pick them up off the C-130s. So they went back another time. They were there, and they said the scientists weren't saying jack. They weren't saying nothing. They were quiet. They got in. Now some of them were sick or something, so they had to go over the hole.
Fly over it.
The
Yeah.
pilots had to save the scientists' life that they did have. And they said they caught pure, you know what, that they could not, when they got back, they said we have no choice to save this individual's life, we have to go across. They couldn't go around the hole that's down there. And it was a big mess about that. I don't
Yeah,
know.
they probably got eaten out for that.
Yeah, they
Shoot
got,
out
because
they weren't allowed to fly over. When you think about that, and then like you go on Google Earth and you try and look
Mhm.
at Antarctica, they don't show you. It's
No.
just not
It's
They'll
blacked
blur it out.
Yeah.
They'll purposely blur parts of it out.
Yeah, it just like they did for like NASA does for pictures of
Yes.
Earth.
Moon.
They picture all the Earth together in a giant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we don't have any satellites that are farther enough away
Mhm.
to take one giant picture. So
Mhm.
they have to take a bunch of pictures from the International Space Station and
Yeah.
they paste them all together.
Mhm.
So that's another thing. Flat Earth. Do you?
Yeah, because
what do
they
you
just
think
show
about
us
that?
they just show us what Earth looks like, but we really don't.
We don't know.
Yeah, we
You
really
don't own a plane. I don't own a plane.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't own a boat. I own a spaceship.
Yeah,
so I have to take
exactly.
your word for it, right?
Yeah. So we just
You-
assume
you
that it's
won't,
round.
You won't really know
Yeah.
until you go to space. But
Exactly. We just assume it looks what it looks.
and if you talk
That's
about
all we know.
and if you talk about flat Earth nowadays, you're just crazy. Nobody listens to you.
It's because we're sheep.
I don't know how I
You're still
feel.
out with me on that.
I don't really know. I don't really think it's flat.
I don't think.
But
it's
I mean,
flat.
there's always a possibility. I don't think it's flat, but it's just crazy because like you've never actually seen it.
Well, it kind of makes me think because back to the Bible, especially with the flood. Now, were we taught that water comes up from the bottom? We're taught that water comes from the sky, right?
Like rain.
Mm-hmm. But if you read the Bible, it says that water does come up when Noah, when he built the ark, that water came from up under the earth as well. which makes you go, how does that happen? And then it says, when he forgives your sins, the east as far as it is from the west. Well, how is he going to do that if it's round? It would have to be flat. If he forgives your sins as far as the east is from the west, because the east and the west never meet. And if the watchers were watching on all four corners of the earth, which is what the Bible says, how are they watching on a round elliptical thing? That doesn't
But like, at the same time, the Bible isn't meant to be taken literally all the time.
Yeah, to a point. It makes you think. You know, some people who have the flat Earth theory have some legitimate points.
No, they do. I've watched a lot of videos, but
Yeah.
I'm just not convinced yet,
Mhm.
or I don't think I'll ever be convinced. But I just don't like. I just can't. Why would they lie about what the Earth looks? Because like another thing, if you look into space
Mhm.
and you look at the moon and you look at all these different planets, they're round.
Mhm.
It's a circle.
Mhm.
So why would ours be the only flat planet?
That I can't get into that. I really have no idea. But then again, you know, a lot of like the Urantia book. Like I talked to you about the Urantia book. We are the nucleus. The Earth is we're made just a little bit lower than the angels, says the Bible says. The angels are the supreme beings that we're taught. We're just made just a little bit because we have free will. We are different than every other life form. Other life forms are more collective.
Mm-hmm.
The Platonians, the Anunnakis, they're collectives. They think similar.
We're individualists.
We're individualists. This is something that's different. I don't know, but I believe that we're just separate.
Well, that's why we are so unique.
Mm-hmm.
It's because we have free will,
Yes.
and the fact that we have free will means that we are so much more, advanced in like a mindset, but not technology wise. Obviously,
Right.
we're still young, but I feel like we have the potential to be the most advanced just because we have free will.
Mm-hmm.
And the free will allows us to advance very fast
Mm-hmm.
because we have all these different people thinking about all different things.
Right.
Because you never know what baby's gonna cure cancer or whatever. So like,
Mm-hmm.
but if you have a collective mindset, everybody's kind of thinking the same, and like you can't really get out. It takes way too long.
It does. Going to that too, I believe that this is not our first rodeo. When I say that, I'm meaning that we've been here before. There's things such as like we talked about reincarnation. I think there's some validity to that. I believe that we come back to raise our spiritual growth, our higher self. I believe that we sign a contract with the source or God, that in this lifetime that we're trying to achieve something better, that you and he and I, we all knew each other on the other side, but we had different roles, and this time even your mom or your dad or whatever, your friends, we all knew each other in the spiritual lifetime, the spiritual world, but when we came to this earth, because of our contracts with God, that we wanted to learn something different, to raise our spirituality. I think there's levels of spirituality, and that's also biblical too. Just like they say, even the rocks will praise God. They say that we evolve through parts. Believe it or not, this life form was rocks, became somewhere. Energy, not rocks, but energy. And we're evolving to another higher point. And but I think at this time in the world, in the existence of the planets of the universe, it has never happened like it's going to happen now. With Jesus coming back, everything is going to be phenomenal. I believe that all the life forces from all across the universe, it's a teaching about that too, is on this earth for this. This is like a big concert that's about to go down. Life forms of other spirits from other planets are here. The earth has been most populated now than it's ever been. And that's because souls have elected to come here at this point in time in life to witness it. This is going to happen in our lifetime. Now, for those people who commit suicide, things like that, they opt out the contract. They don't want the contract no more. We do. We've opted to watch this whole thing go down. This is the biggest
Doesn't the Bible
concept.
say that like if you commit suicide, you go to hell?
Yeah, I don't believe that. This is just between us. I don't believe that. I believe it's a restart button because you act out the contract that you made with God, the source.
But God wouldn't, because God never wants to kill his creation, so he wouldn't want to see his creation kill himself.
Exactly.
So that's why he banishes them to hell. But at the same time, I don't really think hell is a real place.
Hell is just a lower dimension. It's a different vibration. When you stay on point, you stay on this line that is in that contract to get you that higher level, that's where you're going to reach your achievement. That's where you're going to learn that lesson. Now, if you lean off and you say, well, I don't want to do this contract no more, and you kill yourself, then you're going back to square one. And when you go back to square one, you just gotta keep going through the cycle again. You know, because it's always evolving. Life form is always evolving. Our energy does not cease forever. That's why it says the devil or the hell was created for the angels and his people, not for us. Mm-hmm. We're supposed to achieve a higher level to get closer and closer to the source. Not to be the source, but to be closer spiritually.
I always think about like how is hell a real place, because like in the Bible it talks about how Jesus has come and forgive you for all your sins you've committed, will commit, and you know have committed. So if he has already forgiven you for every sin that you've committed, think about committing, or have or currently forgiving, how is it possible that you can ever go to hell if you are already forgiven?
It's a good point. Well, that's why it says you need to practice repentance.
But if you don't repent, that's kind of sinning, right?
No,
so
not if you don't repent, because you hit it right in the head. You said if you've already been forgiven for all the things you've done, and I've sinned because I forgot to repent or I didn't repent. I don't think that that's the case. I think that the case is, let me put it to you like this. When Russia bore down into the earth a few years ago, I think it was 2012 or maybe a little bit later, and they heard the entities or whatever that was screaming.
Oh yeah, the video.
Yes, I think that was the fallen angels that are down there, or the hell that's existed. I don't think it's, and if it is our spirits, then it's only for a time. I don't think if you go to hell, you could go to hell for a long time. I think just like kind of a purgatory type of thing, my personal opinion. If you're striving to do the right thing and you don't, and you're trying to get spiritual growth, then I don't think you go to hell. I do think hell exists, but it's only for a short time. I don't think that it's just like paying your debt to karma. Like I told you about the mission, I believe from what my angels are telling me that I paid my debt to society. My karma has been replaced. Now it's time to move forward. And I think that's probably the same thing with hell. But I don't think it's forever. It's for those who don't believe that God and Jesus and don't accept Jesus as their personal savior.
And so, do you think that, so on earth we have free will? Do you think that when we die and carry on to heaven that we still have free will, or that we are controlled by God? Because like, do you think that, because like, if you have free will in heaven, can you could still commit sins?
Yeah, just like the fallen angels did.
So, but in heaven, but in the Bible it talks about heaven's an amazing place, that you like praise God 100% of the time, like all the time. But if you had free will, why couldn't you couldn't choose to get out of that? Or
who would want to be out of, after you've experienced this life of struggling, not even so much struggling, but just it's always something going on, to just infinite peace? Why would you want out of that? Knowing the worst side of things. Why would you want to go against something like that?
But if it was for eternity, just praising God, don't you think that you kind of go insane a little bit?
Yeah, I don't think it's eternity, because
But that's forever.
there's people who there's different life forms. There's other things to do. Praising God, I don't think people just stand around praising God, personally speaking. I think that life keeps moving just at a different level. We will have other tasks to do. We will have other life forms to possess, to go out, to learn. We gotta wait and find out. We have to wait and find out.
Do you think God? You know how we try and find our creator, God? Do you think God is always trying to find who created God, or do you think God was just there?
That is a good question, because I was just thinking about that last night.
I think about that all the time, because if God's always looking for who created God, who created that God, and then who created that God, who created that God, it just keeps going forever.
Because he just says, I am. Who are you? I am. That's one of his sayings. I don't know, and you know what? That's kind of a scary question to run into, but I think that he was created as well by something else. I mean, I don't know. That's something we're gonna.
Our brain can't
You can't comprehend it.
Can't.
Just like all the information that comes in that we're talking about today, we can't comprehend it. That's just a whole nother gig of wool.
Because like if God created us, and he talks about heaven, so we go to his heaven. But then there could be a heaven for him, and there could be hundreds of him. He just created his own timeline, so now another God can have a different timeline, and it's.
Well, that's why I say about the Anunnaki. That's why I say that is the Logi. To some extent, I don't know. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around it, because we were tampered with, but there was a source that brought about what we have going on, the apes and things of that nature. I think that we were tampered with, but we were tampered by with another intelligent life form, like the Anunnaki. And who created them, like you said. Because I think the Bible was written with them, okay? Maybe they're the one that gave us the Bible, the way to run and where it has the genealogy and things like that. But that's the genealogy of that part. What about the part before that and the part before that? There was no Bibles, but it's strange because
You can keep asking that question over and over again. Who created that?
Who created that?
And then you can ask why over and over again. Somebody can give you an answer, you can say, well, why? They give you an answer to that. Oh, well, why? Who created that? And it just keeps going and going and going.
Which goes back to what they say about Satan, because they say that Satan said, because this is the Urantia book. If anybody knows anything about the Urantia book, it brings out those type of questions. In the Urantia book, they said that the devil had said when he was created, and while they were fallen, he says that God told him, he wanted him, as God spoke the word and things were created, God wanted the angels and the created beings to bring back the information that they have experienced. And Satan said, why should we bring it back to you? Why can't I just be the source? And let them bring me the information. That's what the Urantia book says. And that's where the problem started. Now that's another teaching. The Urantia book is phenomenal. You gotta get it. It will open up your mind.
Now, do you think that, so like, how Satan left heaven and was cast out of heaven?
Was he?
Was he?
Was he?
I don't know. But
read the book of Job.
But
the book of Job.
Doesn't the Bible say he was cast out of heaven?
That's at the end. Have we experienced the end yet? Or was it at the beginning? If it was at the beginning, why is he still in the Bible? Because it said that God asked him, he says, what have you been doing, Satan? He says, I've been roaming around the earth. Okay. And he says, have you looked at my brother Job? Or my Job? He says, yeah. So he talks to God all the time. You read the Bible, it'll show it. He's always talking to God. He's in heaven talking to God. In what level of heaven, we don't know.
But he can only stay in heaven for a certain amount of time.
Why is he even talking about it? Well, I mean, when you say he's cast out, you're thinking he's cast into his area, you never to be in heaven.
But God is not afraid of anybody, so that's why he lets him in. Because he can't hurt God.
But he snatched 200 or more. No, a third of the angels he took.
Yeah.
So why would you want something in there in heaven? Somebody who's gone against you. I mean, yeah, you're an all-powerful God, but why would you even talk to that? But see, here's the thing. He used everything Satan did for the good of himself. That's why he utilized him against Job.
Now, do you think, you know how he took
A third.
1/3 of all
Mhm.
angels? What if he took all the angels? Do you think anything would happen to God, like that they could have a fight against him, or?
It's ongoing. It's always has been ongoing.
But I'm saying, like, if they all went against God, because right now the angels fight the other angels.
Mm-hmm.
If they were all against God, would God wouldn't destroy them, right?
He doesn't destroy his creation.
So what would he end up doing? Would he have to make new angels?
Why would he do that? Are we the new angels? Are we the old angels? What are we? We don't know. But he allows the evil. He says he knows beginning before the end and the end before the beginning. He knows when things existed. He already knew this was going to transpire. What's going on right now is transpired. So he, in the Bible, that's why it's written. He's already said that he's going to throw Satan out of the heaven and lock him up for another 1,000 years. In Revelation, he says that. Then he lets him go again. Does that make any sense? He doesn't destroy any of his creations.
Why did he let him go?
That's because he's a creation. He's something. He never destroys any of his creations. Because he's probably going to test us. He wants to test the angels again in heaven.
Because when things are good, people lose God. When things are bad, people find God.
They say there's a turning away in heaven again. Because when his kingdom hits the earth, there's going to be a turning away again. You know, so he probably releases it. It's probably an ongoing process. It's probably been an ongoing process since the beginning. It's a war that's been always going on, a spiritual war.
Because like when you're rich and you have a wife and you have kids and everything's good for you, you don't really focus about God and all that.
No.
But when you're poor and times
When
are
you're
hard,
at your darkest
Exactly.
time.
that's
Yeah.
Exactly.
When you're at your darkest hour.
which is weird. Why you would think the government wants to keep us down.
Mm-hmm.
At this, like, if they're trying to separate church, I know church and state is supposed to be separate, but they're really trying to separate. They don't want religion to do anything with.
No, they took the Bible out in the 60s.
Yeah.
We used to pledge
You
allegiance.
can't even say under God anymore.
No.
I haven't said under. I always used to say it. I went to a Catholic school, but
Right.
but in public schools you can't. No under God. You can't say any of that. You can't pray. You can't pray in class. You can't do any of that.
And if you do, you get looked at like you're crazy.
Well, no, they'll take you to the office. You're not allowed to.
Yeah.
They want you to think you're crazy.
Yeah.
You know, but we're not. We have the right. We're on the right track. If you don't realize that you are not alone, that give your cares to God and focus only on God and let Him direct your path, you'll be fine. Because He knows the right way. The other part, if you think you can get things on your own, you can't. It's just that simple.
And like there's so many different religions
Mm-hmm.
on earth that you always think like you don't know which one is the right one.
All religions are bad.
All
Because
religions are bad.
Yes, you know why?
Why?
Because religion is something that man made. Jesus didn't come here to be a Muslim, a Catholic, Protestant.
I can see that. I can
You
see
know what
that.
I'm saying?
Because some religions are very
They're
some
factions.
out
yeah,
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like Islam is against Judaism and Christianity.
Is that what Jesus
and
did?
Christianity, yeah.
Right. Jesus didn't come here for that.
Yeah.
They just
Islam-
branched that one thing.
Right.
They just branched it off to what they
Right.
to suit their own
To suit
liking.
Their
yes.
own liking.
Yeah.
It's like there's
Yeah.
a bunch of different Catholic churches. There's the Catholic Church, there's the Lutheran Church, there's the Protestant Church. They're all from one
Presbyterian.
Presbyterian, but
yeah.
they all just break off if they don't like something and they change it. You
That's
can't
it.
change what God
Exactly.
says.
That's man. Man did that.
Yeah.
It wasn't God.
Like Islam just throws gay people off of buildings.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Women aren't allowed to talk. I mean,
Yeah.
they can't
Yeah,
drive.
wear a
They can't
veil.
drive. They gotta wear a veil.
Yes.
You can't look at them. It's like
But you know why they do that?
and they kill people.
Because
They
they're
just
angels.
blow people up.
Because of the fallen angels.
Yeah.
That's the part of the Bible that they took. Because
I
that's what
just-
they wrapped their heads in.
I don't get why they think that killing people in the name of Allah
Mhm.
is what He wants.
It's not.
It doesn't make
That's what man wants.
It doesn't make any sense.
That's what they want.
It's the serpent in
It's the
the
serpent.
ears.
It's the
Just like
serpent.
Adam and Eve.
It's a mask.
Is it?
It's just masking.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Maybe that's one of the reasons why there's atheists. I don't know. Maybe it's some reason why people don't want to go to church anymore. But you just can't get wrapped up into it. I do know one thing, that the higher source is the way to go. And I think that Jesus is the only way. Because I'm going to tell you, eternally the way I feel complete. I feel solid. I feel full circle. When I pray, I know that He listens. I know He gives me what He knows I need. It says in the Bible, He already knows what you need. He will supply your needs. He does it.
But so you're saying all religions are bad, but at the same time, you're talking about Jesus and the Bible, which is a religion.
Mm-hmm.
Not all religions believe in Jesus and the Bible.
No. I believe
that's
that
just another
Jesus.
faction,
I believe
right?
Jesus is the only way to get to where we're supposed to be going.
But Jesus is part of a religion. Though.
He's part of a religion, but He's part of man. He's part of a man-made thing that you see, Christianity is wide branch. Okay, I'm not denominational, meaning that I don't believe Baptist, I don't believe Protestant. I believe Jesus is the only way, and I'll leave it at that. I don't put a label on myself and say, well, I'm a Catholic, I don't believe that, or I'm Protestant, I don't believe what that's saying, or even evangelical or whatever. I don't do that.
I see that, but like, if you ask a Buddha person, their view wouldn't be that Jesus is
The only way.
the only way.
They believe there's other enlightened beings.
So what I'm saying is, how do you know you're right, and how do you know He's right? You don't.
I don't. And you know what the Bible says? Don't get involved in that, because it's not beneficial. There's a couple books I'm reading. There's one called was it Another Way or something like that. Then when people start talking about that, Jesus didn't get in no disputes about what they believed. Even the Pharisees and the Sadducees, he didn't get involved in that. You know, He just showed them through proof how He walked. That's the way it should be. He didn't force His opinion on nobody. And that's the same way we're supposed to be. I'm not supposed to force my opinion on you.
Yeah.
You know, and leave it at that. And
You're supposed to say what you need to say, and then let the other person
yeah, if you
do
believe
what
that,
He wants
God
with
bless
that
you.
information.
Right, God bless you. You know, I hope you make it to where you gotta go. I know this works for me. Maybe that works for you. I still love you. You know.
Yeah. But try to, like, morally speaking, people that tend to believe in a religion tend to have more morals, do you think, than people that do not? Or do you think that it differs on what religion you believe in?
Morals.
Because do you think like let's use 3 examples. Do you think like a person that believes in Christianity, an atheist, and like somebody that believes in a different religion, like let's say Buddhism, do you think that they all get their morals from that particular thing they believe in? So you know what I mean? Like, do you think that we all share the same morals as a whole, or do you think it has to do with religion?
No,
do you think religion is one of the big things that ties our mindsets into what we should be doing?
My teaching tells me that my moral compass is driven by the Holy Spirit. Okay.
So that's what Islam people believe.
Well,
So like, let's say they believe that what they're doing is good.
Right.
So that's what I'm trying to say. So
Right.
if they think that doing these crimes and horrific things against people is good, they will never stop.
No, they won't stop, because they believe in what they believe. But the moral compass cannot be driven by the carnal mind. It has to be driven by the Holy Spirit, which resides in all of us. And whether you want to label a religion, personal experience, or what have you, everybody has a moral compass. I just think that you have to realize that you can't focus on other people's thoughts or other people's moral compass, you know, because what he thinks is right in his carnal mind may not be right in my mind. So that's a topic for every individual person or group of action if they feel that's okay. But I mean, I know if I walk past a person and they look like they're hurt, my moral compass says help that individual, you know. And if you're don't do it, then you have a bad moral compass. I mean, it's just because you have to think the way Jesus did, not Krishna, and things like that. That's just different. I don't know. Would they would probably do the same thing to help individuals. That's what they wanted to do. But I just believe in my heart that the moral compass is driven for me by the Holy Spirit, Jesus Christ.
And just to like, we skipped over a part that I wanted to talk to you about, but we'll jump back to it. But
Okay.
I know you're very religious and
Spiritual.
yeah, spiritual. So how do you feel about the like borders and border security and letting, because a lot of liberals believe that we should just be letting people in, just let them all in, no borders. Borders are irrelevant. And then we have the other side of the aisle, which is we need strong borders. We need to know everybody that's coming in and out. We need to know they need to pay their share, their fair share of taxes. So like, how do you feel on that? Because if you look at a Christianity point of view, you want to let everybody in, but at the same time, you can't really do that.
That's a good question. I have never really thought about that. I do believe that we do need some type of security being at this time of period in our life, because of ever since 9/11 and things that transpired. We do know that we are under attack by other countries that hate our guts.
The border security has found, like on the border, like miles before, on the Mexico side, they found Muslim prayer rugs all over. How are they getting there from Mexico? Because the last time I checked, Mexico does not believe in Islam. It's a very Christian. So that means they're coming to Mexico to sneak into the borders.
Right.
And they're bringing homegrown terrorists. They're bringing people here to be trained and then commit crimes here.
They're using our people against ourselves.
They're using their, yes.
Right, and that's been an ongoing thing. But I don't know. I never really contemplated that one. But I would say that I do agree that we do need some border restraints. We need some type of protection. But the problem is we're killing ourselves off. You know, you got average white Americans that are going over to Islam and not going there physically, but here, and they're researching and they're converting themselves to do the things that those people want to do over there, and that's what they're using against us.
Yeah.
Because of the information they're putting on the computers, and they're saying your people are against it, you know, the Americans trying to killing you off, and they're doing these things. I don't know. I don't think that that's much we can do about that. I think we'll turn ourselves upside down trying to prevent these type of things, because it's not going to happen.
I just think it's not fair to the people that put in the paperwork and do it the legal way to get to the country, and it takes a while. I won't lie, it takes
a lot of money.
It takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of time, but you're doing it legally.
Right.
And then the people that come illegally, they don't pay taxes. They're taking spots away from the people that are trying to do it legally.
Jobs.
And they leech off the taxpayers.
They're taking jobs away, and the tax dollars that we spend on illegal immigrants is insane.
$30,000 a year.
Is it? No, 30 million.
30 million. No, I'm talking about individual.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. See, you talk about food stamps, things like that. It's just crazy. Insurance.
Yeah, it's crazy. The amount of illegals that came in before. I mean, there's not many that come. There's still a lot that come in now because the wall's not finished yet. But
and it's not going to get finished.
Yeah, it's not.
I think it'll be finished. You don't think so?
I wouldn't count on it. I would like for it to get finished, but I wouldn't count on it.
Well, I definitely by the end of the 4 years, if he gets reelected, it's gonna be done.
But you're going down a rabbit hole there. It's not going to change.
Well, I mean, yeah, the wall's not gonna solve it all. I know that for a fact. But it's just there for the first line of defense.
Okay, so before the illegal aliens were paying probably $5,000 or $10,000 a head to get over here by people who smuggle them over. Okay, so now it goes to $20,000. they're gonna find a way to get over it. And you have corrupt agents, they're allowing them in, it's been documented.
Oh yeah.
They don't get paid enough, to block the borders. They have families to feed, and they're trying, and that's another play, that's another deception. We're chasing the almighty dollar. We got people that just do not make enough money, so it doesn't make a difference. We're after that carrot that we're never gonna catch.
I'll be honest, I chase the moolah.
Mm.
I chase the money.
I don't chase it. I don't chase it.
It sounds good to have a giant yacht and a
But then what?
and then I just live my life.
But then what?
And then I die.
You'd be bored.
I wouldn't get bored.
You would be bored.
I don't think I'd get bored.
Ask Rob if he's bored.
Rob's not bored. No, but I definitely, people tell me all the time, they're like, money's not the answer. Money doesn't bring happiness, and I'm like, that's a lie. You could do so many good things with money though.
I've had not substantial amount of money, but I've been comfortable before, years and years ago. But I still had a missing spot here. It was okay to go to Drake a little bit, take time off on 1 or 2, have an easy desk job, but I'm still missing something. And now I feel more fulfilled in my life than I ever had in my entire life.
But like money, it has to do with the type of person that has the money.
Mm-hmm.
Because like if you came up from nothing, like from you were poor, you have the work value, you have the morals, and then when you get the money, sometimes it corrupts you, and sometimes you can just live with it and have fun with it and enjoy it. But some people that are like born into being rich, those are the ones that you get that are like dicks and they hate everybody and do evil things. There's a lot.
Society.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rich people that believe in God and that deal with certain things, but like I do see how money can bring some bad stuff. But I'm just saying, if I had a lot of money, I'd be the nicest person in the world. I'd be donating to churches. I'd be donating to charities.
Right, but you're a nice guy.
Yachts.
But you're a nice guy now, and you have a moral compass.
That's what I'm saying. So like, if somebody has that already, I don't think the money could corrupt them easily. But I do think that like
over time it could.
And I feel like the people that do get the money handed to them and they don't have to work for their money, that's how it makes it even worse.
Let me ask you a question though. If you were granted $1 million, or a couple $1 million, whatever, then you had it. It may not be so much corrupting you. What about people around you? What about your friends that, not him per se, but maybe somebody who may be struggling, maybe a closet drug or alcoholic, right? And they commit suicide because of what the money that you gave, because they OD'd or something, because you were trying to help them or other people you're helping. That's going to attack you. You're going to say to myself, wow, I never knew. You know what I mean? So maybe you're not hurting yourself. Maybe you might be hurting somebody else with money. And that brings a whole new bigger.
If I ever got a lot of money, this kid would be running over me for a new Mustang. No, I'm just messing with you. No, but I told him, I'm like, if I had a lot of money, Brent, I'd buy you a new car. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah. No, but I do see that point. You could definitely hurt a lot of people that you would never intend to. You just think that you're doing something right.
Because you're morally spent and you're grounded doesn't mean everybody else is grounded.
And they could, they could just act on, what they want, and then what they want ends up, being their demise of them.
Yeah. Or maybe a faction of their family. You go ahead and then the next thing you know, they've done something wrong.
Yeah. And get involved in the wrong crowd.
Right.
It happened.
It's a whole new level of moral compass.
I always thought about that. Like, if I was rich, people that are rich get into like drugs and
they
all
get
this.
involved with the wrong sort of
I always
thing.
thought like if I was rich, I would never want to do that because I wouldn't want to risk losing what I have.
But then that's the thing.
Right.
The whole, something needs to be filled, and if you can't get that, the quickest thing is a drug.
And then who's to say that, if you're gonna hang with those people, maybe those people will not accept him.
I wouldn't hang with those people.
But see, that's another. Then you'll be lonely.
Exactly.
That's
when the drugs.
See, everybody is trying to convince me that it's not good. But I'm telling you, if I had a lot of money, I'd have a yacht. My family would be on it. My friends would be on it. That's all I need. I don't need anything else. I need my mom. I need my dad. I need my friends.
True friends.
This kid right here. You maybe, if you want to come on the yacht.
Yeah, but I mean, you're gonna have other people that's gonna run you down too, and you're gonna be like, hey man, I've never hung out with you before. Blah, 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 blah. Now, it's your
It just-
friend.
You want people crawl out of the woodwork.
It does,
Yes.
yeah, it does, but
Yeah, and that does happen.
yeah, talking about money though, like
Yeah.
politics now is controlled by money.
Oh, it always has been.
It always has been.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially now though.
Mhm.
The amount of money that congressmen and senators get paid is ridiculous,
Mhm.
and the amount of
And
money
they still want more.
and the amount of money they make on lobbyists
Mhm.
and taking money from people is ridiculous.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the fact that they take all this money shows how corrupt our our political system is,
Mhm.
because everybody is just controlled by a corporation,
Oh,
an
yeah.
interest group,
Yep.
and everything. And talking like, I wanted to talk about the Epstein. Have you ever heard about that?
Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein didn't
Yeah.
kill himself.
No, I've heard that one.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Oh, we have to talk more about this.
Okay, so-
Yeah.
So Epstein was
Child predator.
yeah, he was a child
Yeah.
sex.
Offender.
He
Okay.
Traffic.
he trafficked
Trafficker,
sex. He
yeah.
trafficked kids and sold them for sex.
Really?
Yes.
Mm.
And he was involved in he wasn't involved in politics, but he was like money wise he was involved in politics,
Mm.
and he was friends with Bill Clinton apparently.
Mm.
And they had a picture of Bill Clinton and Epstein
Epstein.
together on an airplane.
Okay.
And the airplane was going to Epstein's island,
Mhm.
and this is where he kept all, like,
Sure.
that was never proven, but that's like, he had a private island and he only went there to do certain things.
Wow.
So they've had a picture of this, and when this
Mhm.
came out, Epstein was put into jail for the child thing because they investigated more. And when he was in jail, they
Suicide watch.
Yeah, so they-
24/7.
you know how like when you go to jail
security.
and you rat on other people, you
Yeah.
get like less sentence.
Right.
So when he was in jail, the Clintons got scared that was
Mhm.
going to come out because
Mhm.
this was during the time, and Epstein was put on suicide watch because he was suicidal.
Mhm.
So he
So
had
they say.
yes, so he had nothing in his room, nothing he could kill himself with. They had 3 different cameras angled on his cell
Mhm.
and 2 guards watching the cell at all times. The night that he died, the 2 guards were nowhere to be found. The cameras were all turned off, and there was a rope in his and somehow he got something to kill himself in his room.
And his
Wow.
neck was snapped on the autopsy.
So when they did the autopsy, his neck was broken, and when you hang yourself, your neck doesn't break.
Yeah. Well, especially for
Well,
him
only the
because
self
yeah,
was the break.
Well, yeah, because
Uh-huh.
from the angle that
From the angle.
that he hung, he
Yeah.
couldn't have broke.
yeah.
And everybody says Epstein didn't kill himself because
Mm.
Hillary Clinton had him murdered.
Yeah, because there's things on Hillary Clinton.
Yes.
Because there was a few
The
years ago about the
Clinton-
pizza thing with them,
The
right?
Pizzagate.
Pizzagate.
No, yeah, that was and Benghazi. Hillary Clinton has been in politics for her entire life, and she has done nothing.
Yeah, she's not progressive.
I was joking around with Brandon that I better be careful about what I say about Hillary Clinton on this because she's gonna have me killed next. She killed so many people. It's not even funny.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's no wonder she hasn't been locked away yet.
They've been trying. Well,
Yeah.
look at Trump said. Trump said
Yeah, I
he should
know.
have put. She should have been put in jail.
yeah, and
Because
Trump
he
is
knew
trying.
something.
Trump is trying, but he just can't because she
Yeah,
covers up
she's
for
a
evidence.
snake.
She covers it up
She's
too
one
well.
of the biggest snakes in politics. I would
And
say.
now,
she's
and now what's
leaving.
happening? That's
Yeah.
why they're coming after him.
Mhm.
I think that's one of the reasons why
Trump
why
was-
they're coming after him.
Trump was never ever called a racist before he ran for president.
Yeah.
He was hanging out with Biggie Smalls,
Oh, yeah,
Tupac.
yeah.
He was
Yeah.
hanging out with all these black people.
Mhm.
Right as he ran for president
On that-
against,
That's what it came out.
against Hillary Clinton,
Mhm.
all this came out.
Mhm.
Without
He's
ever,
glorious.
without, and there's no evidence. He hasn't said a single thing that's derogatory. They just
Mhm.
assume that, and all the evils pushed on him
Exactly.
because, you know,
Mhm.
no one wanted him to be president. And it's even worse. Then he became president,
Yes.
and then everyone's demonizing him,
And everybody
saying he's
is-
the worst thing since Hitler.
Mhm.
I was talking to
Yeah.
one of my girlfriend's friends the other day, and she hates Donald Trump, and I asked her why, and she's like, "Oh, the way he talks and the way that he
The
disrespects
rhetoric.
the way he
rhetoric.
disrespects women
Yeah,
and the way he treats black people." I'm like, whoa.
they
You
don't.
can't put them in the
they
same
don't-
category.
No.
I said Donald Trump has appointed more women to his cabinet than any other president.
Mhm.
The black unemployment rate is the lowest it's ever been.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What are you talking about? She's like, have you not seen the video of him talking about grab her by the pussy? I'm like, he was a billionaire
No.
before this,
and plus-
and guys talk about that.
Yeah.
No guy can say they never talked about
Well,
pussy.
not only
Yeah.
that, but let's take it to another level. We all know that when men have power, that women sometimes flock to that.
Yes,
They
women
put themselves
go
in a
to that.
situation, and it's not, I'm not trying to get politically incorrect about it or correct, whatever, it is what it is.
You don't have to be politically correct on the show.
I've been a manager of companies before, and it's like, why now? When I was working on a pallet jack, you didn't care too much about me, but now all of a sudden I'm a manager, and now what's the power?
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
like Brett Kavanaugh.
Right.
Nobody had a problem with Brett Kavanaugh.
yeah.
Brett Kavanaugh was appointed to be Supreme Court Justice.
Mhm.
Boom, a rape
Everybody
case came out.
yeah.
There it is.
And
There
what's even worse is that, of course, it was fake.
Oh, it
you
was
know.
100% fake.
Yeah, and there was no evidence. The girl that accused him and practically all but embarrassed herself on live TV because there was no evidence, and the people that were, we call them the people that were, working the case, they were slamming her.
Mhm.
The one guy said that if you have no evidence, then why are you even here?
No,
Mhm.
she couldn't remember where she was. She couldn't remember the party. She couldn't remember what day it was. She couldn't remember They asked her basic questions before she went to the party, like, what were you doing before the party? She didn't remember any of it. She's like, what day was it? She couldn't remember any of it.
Mhm.
But the only part she remembered was that he raped her.
That's it.
No, and not even that. Not even that.
All the time.
Not even that. She couldn't even identify the people that raped her because she said the room was dark. But
she's
I'm
like, oh, I don't know.
sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that he raped me.
I'm pretty sure it was that guy right
Yeah, I'm
Anywhere else
pretty
that's
sure.
thrown out.
I can't be too
That's anywhere that's
sure.
thrown out. A defense attorney.
Yeah. There's a 50-50 chance that he did rape me. I didn't get to see his face though. No, it's fake.
And what did you see?
Yeah. Now you may have gotten the bruises because you may have fell down the stairs when you were drunk.
Right.
But there's no way that he raped you. There's no way. You have no evidence. There's no evidence.
That puts out there that nothing's going to happen with
Yeah.
that. It's just to put something
no
inside his mind.
Have you been keeping up with the impeachment inquiry?
No.
No, not at all.
Because I told you, I feel it's irrelevant.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
know,
gonna happen.
I know, but
It's a shame. The whole thing.
It's a shame.
Yeah. The whole thing is.
the amount of lies that is coming through the sessions of court, the court sessions that they're having, I watch all of them. I watch all the live streams. It's ridiculous how blatant of liars they could be without the people seeing it.
Yeah.
Because if the Republicans ever tried to lie as much as the Democrats do now, the news would be all over it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like they lie just straight to your face. Like because I was watching one and a Republican congressman from Ohio was interviewing one of the guys that was releasing one of the reports, talking about the phone numbers and how they started investigating Donald Trump and how they got the taps for it. And he was like, who authorized this to happen? To happen in Donald Trump's conversation. And the guy he was talking to, it was him and the boss. Those were the two highest people. And he's like, it can only be you or it can only be him. So who is it? And the guy's like, I'm not going to answer. And then the congressman was like, well, we know it was your boss. And the fact that you're not answering proves my point. And then he closed the case. Yeah. And the guy in the interview chair was just like, damn, you got me.
Yeah. And now what? Now what's going to happen?
Nothing.
Nothing's going to happen. It's just a farce.
The only thing the impeachment inquiry is doing is trying to get more people to vote against Donald Trump. That's the only thing that the Democrats are hoping for.
Well, 46% of people right now want to see him impeached. But guess what?
That's only a certain poll from a certain people watching CNN.
But yet 52%, over half have an approval rating for him.
Yeah,
but guess what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Whether it really, if reality tells you anything that we've learned in politics, and we know it's happened, regardless if people don't want to vote for him, we know that the powers to be is going to make sure that he's in office.
Yeah.
One way.
Well, it's almost inevitable.
One way, it's going to happen.
The silent majority in the country has spoken, and that's what happened last election. And that's what's going to happen again this election.
It's going to happen.
They're tired of getting pushed around by the Democrats and all this political correctness and all this.
Well, not to mention
just progressivism.
Not to mention there's a very high amount of Democrats that I already told you that switched to the Republican Party in the last 4 years, and it's crazy. It's
tired.
astronomical.
They're tired.
To think
It's
of
just It's round robins, lies.
Yes.
What'd you tell him to make sure my story's correct.
Well, it's a blame game.
If
That's
you
all
don't,
it is.
if you don't
Yeah.
lie, you have nothing to be worried about.
Yeah.
And that's you
It's a
can't.
blame.
That's how it works.
But you gotta see the forest through the trees. You gotta see it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
The powers that be are gonna make sure Donald Trump
Mhm.
wins this election, and it's gonna be a whole nother kingdom full of issues going on. And 2020 is gonna be phenomenal.
I saw a funny meme, and it was oh, what happens if Donald Trump actually got impeached? What he's like hopefully this is what happened. He'd be impeached. Mike Pence would take office. Mike Pence would pardon Donald Trump. He would make Donald Trump the vice president, and then he would resign and make Donald Trump the president, and then
Right.
Donald Trump would make him the vice president, then be right back to where
Back
it
to where
started.
it's at.
It was so funny. I'm like, oh my god.
Speaking of that, what do you feel about Mr. Pence?
Honestly, I mean, I really haven't
If he's an alternative,
I really haven't really put in too much research into him.
he hasn't been in the limelight that much.
Yeah, he
Doesn't
really
that
stays.
scare you?
He really
Yeah.
stays in the back.
doesn't that
seat.
Yeah.
scare you?
The thing about him that I like is he does not talk a lot, but he is very intelligent.
Mm.
He's because like when Donald Trump is talking, he does not talk. He stays in the background. He
Yes.
doesn't talk.
He
But
knows
what-
his place.
But when it is time for him to talk and speak up,
Yeah, oh yeah.
he's
So,
very
yeah.
intelligent.
But
Yeah.
well, this is just to put it out there. But
Very outspoken.
with Donald Trump, with Barack Obama, we knew Joe Biden and what went on in Joe Biden said, right?
Oh my
He
god!
made it very
Don't get me
verbal.
started on Joe Biden. I hate
So-
Joe Biden.
So how come, just to make you think, how come we don't know what's going on in Pence's mind? Because he could be your next president,
Could be.
but nobody knows anything about him. Doesn't that kind of like makes you go,
I definitely think it raises like eyebrows, but at the same time, it's like
Honestly, I think they're.
Yeah.
I think Mike Pence is the secret weapon right now, and Donald
Yeah.
Trump's holding him in the background.
yeah,
And
that too.
because Mike Pence gets a lot done, but he just does not. He's not on TV. They don't talk about him.
Yeah.
He's in the background.
He's in.
Why?
He's out of the line.
Why? I don't know why.
why?
I don't know why, but I don't think he's doing anything bad. I think he's doing a good job.
Keeping his mouth shut.
Yeah, he's doing a good job keeping his mouth shut. I'll tell you that. But he's doing a lot. I really don't know everything he does. Like honestly, I don't know what he does. I honestly don't.
That's
know
why
what
that's what I'm asking you. Does he go,
I honestly don't know what he does. But
Did you know who Barack Obama was before he ran for president? Did you even know his name?
can you?
Did you know? Well, I mean, seriously, did you know? I even didn't know.
Where's the
No,
birth
no,
certificate?
You know, I
it's
had-
Osama, right? His middle name's Osama, right? Osama?
Something like that.
Hossein? Hussein? No.
Hussein.
Hossein, yeah. that
But
one.
did
Yeah.
you ever hear of him?
Do I ever hear of him?
Did you ever hear of him before he became president of the United States?
Yeah, he was a congressman, right? Or a senator?
Yeah.
What was he? Senator, right?
But he popped up like that. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
he's a.
But
I heard
no,
him,
but the thing is with the Barack Obama, it's not like you said, like not much is really known until just he
I'm trying to
just
show you
appeared out of
similarities.
nowhere.
I'm trying
yeah.
to throw you the similarities. Barack Obama, you didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, he's president of the United States.
Exactly.
Now you got Michael Pence, the vice president of the United States. Nobody knows nothing about him. He's quiet. Is he getting prepped for something? Is there something? I'm just throwing it out there as a question for ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, why is he so quiet? Why are they keeping him? Because with Biden, Joe Biden, he was very talkative. He was in the limelight all the time.
Yeah.
I
Same
feel
with
like
Dick Cheney.
Dick Cheney was the
Yeah.
Dick Cheney ran
Yeah,
this country.
really, yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
Joe Biden talked a lot because Joe Biden was full of shit.
Mhm.
So he had to talk just to make himself seem intelligent and make him seem like he's actually doing something.
Mhm.
I feel like Mike Pence doesn't care
Mhm.
because he knows he's getting stuff done and he doesn't really want to
Yeah.
talk about it. I don't know what he does,
Mhm.
but that's just how I feel. I feel like Donald Trump has such a
Dramatic.
image. He has such an
Personality,
image
yeah.
that he doesn't like Mike Pence getting in between that because
Yeah.
because if he doesn't want him saying something that he might disagree with, and then they have to talk about that.
True.
Because then the media's gonna
They jump all
the
over.
media's gonna jump all. That's why I feel like Mike Pence doesn't talk a lot because the media is just constantly attacking them.
Mhm.
The media never attacked Obama and Joe Biden like they did these two presidents.
These two, right? I was
Oh
just
yeah,
curious.
remember
just thinking.
Donald Trump? You know, he loves the limelight. And he doesn't like
Why-
standing
you
in
know,
the way
to
of
take it
it.
over.
Yeah. he
What,
doesn't
why,
want
what
any-
I always say is, why the hell would Donald Trump leave his multi-billion-dollar lifestyle to get ridiculed, hated, and all this,
and do it for free.
and do it for free?
Yeah, do it for free.
Because
Yeah.
he wants to save the United States.
Yeah.
He wants to save what was going wrong.
Yeah.
Because he saw what was going wrong, and he wanted to save it, and he's doing a good job.
At the point where you're doing something for free means that you actually do care. And you don't care about the monetary gain from it. So.
He really does it for free?
I know he does it for free.
Isn't he one of the first presidents?
No,
who's done it for
his
free?
paycheck is $1.
Yeah.
He only takes $1 paycheck.
So he doesn't want the $475,000 a year.
It's five. Is it
Is it
500?
500?
I think it's 500 a
Is
year.
it 500?
500 a year, and then after that, it's 250 for life or something
Mhm.
like that. Yeah, it's crazy, but
And he'll get Secret Service like
you get till you die.
But he don't
exactly.
need Secret Service.
Yeah, he already has his own
He's
stuff.
already got his own security.
Yeah.
He's got
He's gonna have security at the yin yang by the time he's out of office.
But I never said this before, and I don't think I said it only since we've been sitting here, but you do know he's in the Bible. Donald Trump.
Is he? Great White Hope. He's in the Bible.
No, it's a.
Does it say his name in the Bible? I'd love to see
His
that.
last name.
Trump. Oh, it is.
Trumpets.
I did see that.
Yeah.
But that's not Trump.
But
It alludes to it.
it alludes to it
Yeah.
because he was born on a Jubilee.
Okay, can you explain the Jubilee really quick?
I'm still researching that.
Okay.
We were
what does
talking
the
about it
Jubilee
earlier.
mean, though?
It's an
Just
Israel.
from what you have so far.
It's an Israel calendar type of thing.
Yeah.
Everything that happens in the world, not just in Israel, but in the world, is on a Jubilee year.
So everything significant happens on Jubilee year?
Israel was made a state on a Jubilee year.
So what's a Jubilee year?
Jubilee year,
50 years,
I'm
you
still
said?
researching, I think it's 50, just like the mission has been around 50 years. It's between 50 and 70 years, it's one of the two. I don't know what it, I'm still trying to do the research. But from what I'm gathering, that everything has transpired on a Jubilee year. Because, Israel is God's chosen people. And even when the Dead Sea Scrolls were found, was on a Jubilee year.
Significant things have happened
On a Jubilee year.
Yeah.
This is the type of knowledge that has never been revealed before in history. It is starting to come out now. And it's not saying that we'll be able to predict when end times will happen, but the Jubilee year has a lot of significance to it.
Because the Bible says God doesn't even know when the end time
No,
are, right?
God does know, Jesus doesn't know.
Jesus, but they're the same person.
Jesus, we're the same person, but he is God incarnate, man incarnate.
What? But if they're the same person,
Jesus is God, but yes, they are the same people. But even the angels and Jesus says in the Bible, he said, I don't even know. Only the Father knows when it's time. So he'll pull the plug when he's ready.
I never really got that. The Holy Trinity. If they're all the same person, I don't get it.
Well, there's parts, there's functions, just like your mother has a function, your father has a function, you have a function.
But they're not the same
Do
person.
you know what's going on in your father's head? You are of your father, though. You are of your mother.
Okay, I see. I see.
You don't know he's gonna pull the plug on you and kick your butt out of the house.
Honestly. Not yet. I don't know, not yet.
No, you're just kidding with me.
No, but all right. So I just want to end it off with one last thing. I wanted to ask you because I like to ask people this. Who do you think did 9/11? You think it was an inside job?
It was
or-
definitely an inside job.
Definitely an inside.
I think the majority of people say that's an inside job because it is. I mean, the 28 pages. That just goes further.
Building number 7.
Yeah, that was
Building number
it's
7.
very
Yes,
specific.
and that was a
Documented.
CIA building.
There was CIA agents were watching
Yes.
on TV.
Yeah, and it just went down.
They said
Yeah,
it was
Just
controlled
came down.
demolition. You
Yeah.
got
it
security.
had to have been.
You have security guards
Yeah.
in building number 1 and building number 2 that were on TV and said they felt a blast
Yeah.
prior to the plane hitting. We can't
Well, yeah.
find the security guards. Number
Well-
2, you have people that came in to paint the buildings. thermites.
Yeah, yes, they used to
They
tan
painted it on there. Right?
yes,
It's
on the aluminum, it's
on the
all
aluminum,
on
it's
there.
all on
It's
there.
on the. So when the jet fuel ignited with that, of course it's gonna, you know.
building number 7. Building number 7 happened to fell later on in that evening or that afternoon. That went down. It was a controlled demolition. The owner of that building took out a double indemnity plan.
Yeah, I saw that.
On the thing. And let me tell you, the people who helped plan that, the CIA, there's agents that say that we sat there and watched and said, we screwed that up. What took them so long to bring that one down? The architect himself said the buildings were built to sustain a 747 hit.
We were watching a documentary in our
With-
in our American government class,
yes.
and we watched a documentary.
And that same guy who said that was missing since 9/11.
Yeah. So
that's-
on the documentary, the beginning part of
Yeah.
the documentary, the guy was talking about how it could withstand a 747, and at the end of the video, it showed his name
Missing
and it
since
said missing
9/11.
since 9/11.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. And freak out about this. I'm gonna tell you something. They said that there should have been more people in those buildings.
Oh yeah.
For some reason, they were told not to come in.
Yeah, a lot of them were told
The
that.
CIA had an office there.
Yeah.
The FBI had an office there. And here's another thing to make you think about.
They didn't want to kill their agents.
They didn't. But why was it done? The forest through the trees. Why was it done?
Well, a lot of people say it was because George Bush needed an excuse to.
George Bush knew about it.
Well, no, he said. A lot of people say that he needed an excuse to blame it on Al Qaeda to go in and attack.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, he was a
to
warmonger.
To
We
get
already knew
oil,
that. Yeah.
to get oil and to fight them and do all that.
But
The
you know
forest
what's
through the
even
trees, yeah.
creepier is that the owner of the World Trade Center properties, that Silverstein guy, he just happened to have a dermatologist appointment on this same short, like right when the planes hit until shortly after they came down.
Wow.
Isn't that creepy?
And
You know,
all of it as a whole is just very suspicious because
it is.
you got the
It
two
is.
towers, you got Tower 7, you got the Pentagon, and what's suspicious? What I researched a lot about the Pentagon one, and what's crazy is the plane only hit the area of the Pentagon that dealt with money, international money.
Yeah.
Was it a
And-
plane?
The
I
Treasury
don't know.
sector.
Did
that-
Did you find?
No.
Did they
And,
say
and
they
another
found
yes, and another yeah, I'll get that to this. But when the area that the Pentagon was hit by a plane, all the money went missing.
it? Oh really?
All the money went missing. How did it
Oh
go
yeah,
missing?
you told me
I did
about that.
How did
yeah.
that go missing? It's
Yeah.
all digital records. How did that go missing?
Digital records.
It's all
disappeared.
digital. And it disappeared because of the plane crash. The plane crash blew up the database.
Yeah.
What? The database is out in the cloud or whatever. And then another thing is, how did a plane get that low? The Pentagon is only a couple stories high.
Yeah.
It's only like
It's got
2
more
or 3
It was orchestrated.
It's all, and it
It
wasn't a
had
plane.
limits.
Well,
It's
it's
never
because-
found parts of a plane.
It's only a couple stories high, and
Yeah.
they said for an unprofessional pilot to get that low without
Yes.
hitting before it hit it would be so hard.
That's what they said. It was
incredibly
a
hard.
missile.
Because they only had 3 months of flying lessons.
And-
how can you fly that strategically with 3 short months? of
And
flying
I know
lessons?
for a fact
Yeah.
the Pentagon is close enough to the White House
Mm-hmm.
that the White House has missiles on the top of it.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
would have shot that plane down before getting anywhere within 100 miles of the White House. Why didn't they shoot that?
Let's keep it going a little further. What about NORAD?